Welcome back to week 49. This is part two. We're going to talk about planning for growth with your capacity planning. So, um, we're going to talk a lot about process in here, and that's because A, I love it, and B, it's very important when it comes to knowing how and where you need to improve. So, if you don't know what you're currently doing, if you don't have it documented, you can't improve upon it. So, documenting your processes is critical if you want to grow. Um, you want to create goals, and you should have realistic goals and stretch goals. There's a terrible term that I'm not going to repeat, but we call them stretch goals. So these are the things that would be nice to hit, not necessary. Your realistic goals are the ones that are the more necessary goals in terms of what your team or you are going to produce or create this year. So understanding that initial goal and timeline, that might change. And as you work out the plan, things that, nothing's perfect. Like if you've watched the disaster series in this course so far, you'll know that a lot of times what you're doing is not going to be what actually happens. So that's fine. So just make sure that you're able to adjust as necessary, and set goals after you figure out what the timeline or the level of effort is going to be, because a lot of times people will just set a random goal of I'm going to do this by then without ever really understanding the amount of work that's going to go into whatever that happens, whatever that is. So just make sure that you are considering, the level of effort and the time necessary to hit those goals. You want to compare against your current capacity. So you need a benchmark, like I believe, was it week 3 of process? Yeah, where we talk about benchmarking and metrics. Go back and review that if you haven't already viewed it. You want to go and review your downtime. So where aren't you using 100% of your resources? And this could be in the building. This could be people, this machinery, outsourcing. Do you have inventory sitting around that isn't being sold during certain times of the day? Could you outsource that? Could you have people working third shift, whatever it is? Margins are lower, but wholesaling is a great way to make money because you're getting people to do the sales for you. You reach out to a company, you sell them a large quantity. You have to touch it less. You have to do less work. You're going to make less money, but in theory, you can sell more. So there's that bulk sales that you need to consider when you're thinking about capacity. So maximizing what you currently have. Let's say you've already done that. So now you're going to need to figure out some other things. Like if you're going to need more space to grow, whether it's physical space, like an actual building, machinery, et cetera, are you going to have to hire new people? Are you going to have to expand into new markets, get new customers? Create new products or services? Go back to week 34. Let's talk about mailbox money. What can you do right now that is already in your wheelhouse that you can sell without actually having to do much else, much extra work? Consider how much it's going to cost. So again, it takes money to make money. So you're going to need to figure out how you're going to finance that growth, and don't be afraid of healthy debt. So you can build, you can bootstrap, but at some point you're probably going to need to borrow some money. So think about that when you are looking to grow. And then don't forget to create a plan and stick with that plan, but adjust as necessary. Go back and watch the disaster planning series again for planning help. So that's weeks 10, 20, 30, and 40. You also want to have that strong foundation. That's week 1. Go back and review that if you haven't, worked out your core values, your culture, that type of stuff. You're going to need to know who your people are. So the current team, and that could be your employees, that could be people you're outsourcing to, whatever it is, and then identify what those future roles are going to be as well. Don't forget that occasionally you might need to ask for help. So experts are out there to help you grow. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Investors are going to be a part of this as well, because you're going to need some cash. And if it's not a bank, it might be somebody who's just got deep pockets. If you're getting investors, you might have to give up equity, but just remember that a small portion of a much larger number is better than a large portion of a smaller number. So if you have, if you own 100% of $1 million in revenue, that's great. But if you own, 50% of $100 million in revenue, that's better. So just think about that. And the last thing, and this is something that you're going to hear throughout, is you need to learn how to stop working in your business and start working on your business. So that's what the business valuation part 2 is going to be about. You really need to just start working on those value add things and pay people to do the other work. That's it for week 49. And we look forward to helping you grow.